One of two. I was just diagnosed at 81 with CLL, did not serve in Vietnam or any presumptive Pact Act area. What medical conditions can be linked secondary to CLL stage 0 leukemia? High cholesterol, stress, other. The first thing what can CLL be secondary to? The first thing that I think all of us look for is what was your job and what were you exposed to in the service? Were you exposed to welding fumes? Were you exposed to asbestos? Were you exposed to the cleaning solvents that they have? They're finding that those, where were you based? Remember, it's not just Camp Lejeune where people were exposed. There are many sites that are now called toxic sites. So I would want to know where were you based? I would want to know what your MSO was. I would want to know what you were exposed to. Did you have to do any painting where they may have had lead-based paint? So those are the things that I would look for. How about you, Ursula?
I would, if there's no presumptive exposure to anything, I would certainly start looking at, the MOS, just like you said. And if you put in that claim, VA is going to have to develop for a TERA, even though those really aren't that helpful. But yeah, there's just because you weren't in one of those places with presumptive exposure does not mean that you were not exposed.
Right. And the TERA, just so that everyone knows, is the VA is now required to say whether or not a veteran was exposed to any toxins. And that's called the TERA report. As Ursula says, they're notoriously inaccurate, wrong. They're just a problem. So they will do one for you. Maybe it'll be helpful, maybe it won't. But it's your job to show what your MSO was, what you're exposed to, what type of toxins. Being in the military, you were just constantly airplane fumes. You were just constantly exposed to so many things that you didn't think about. And so you need to go back and think about all the things that your MSO, your station, wherever you were, you're on a ship, all of those things, what were you exposed to? And list those when you're saying, this is why I think I should be service connected for that. You also, when you find out, say that you were an aircraft mechanic and you use those solvents, then I would put the solvents into Google and say, can they cause this CLL? I would, if it says yes, then I would attach those medical opinions to my claim and say, I was exposed to, and put all of the things that you think you're exposed to. And these articles show that they can cause CLL. So you want to put the VA on notice. Matthew says you don't want to do that, but frankly, if you file a claim for CLL, they're just going to deny you. They're not going to look for what you're exposed to. They're only going to look at the TERA report, and that's not going to be very complete. So I like to give them a little more information, so hopefully they can get it right. Unfortunately, I don't have any confidence that the C&P exam is going to give you benefits. I think you're probably going to have an IME.